Hey, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another video. We are back again with Exandria Downfall. I do apologize, it has literally been 2 weeks since the last episode. I didn't want to make it at least a weekly thing, and I'm fairly certain I mentioned that in the last one, but I probably didn't because, you know, I'm terrible with the stuff I should be saying and just getting off on a complete incomprehensible tangent that has nothing to do with the video. But yeah, I did want to make this a weekly thing, and obviously, like I've just said, it's been 2 weeks, so do apologize. I will try and keep it more scheduled, and do not worry, as this video is, you know, telling you, I do plan on continuing this series. I just, you know, it's a lot longer than the rest of them, so I've got to make sure there's a day where I'm free for at least a few hours to get it done and get it edited, and all the fun stuff and the rendering and everything, and I'm just a busybody recently, so yeah. That's why it hasn't been. But, anyways, in the last episode, super confusing start. Like, I got the whole gods, like, it was like before they came into, like, Exandria or whatever. And then it just went from that straight to, like, the actual characters and the characters we're going to be following throughout the series, or the mini-series, the 3 episodes, which are all out, by the way. So, I mean, I guess me taking a lifetime to get through them's kind of a good thing, because now I can just rummage through it and I don't have to wait at all. So, you know, that's fun. But yeah, so the characters that we're following, I'm fairly certain from the comments that you guys left and from what I was trying to surmise anyways, is they are like avatars of the gods that we were watching through, you know, when they were in that, I can't remember what they called it, but that other dimension, and they got thrusted into the real world, if you will. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're following them. We've only seen 2 of the characters thus far, so we haven't exactly, you know, gotten very far at all into the story. So I'm really looking forward to what Brennan has in store for us. If you guys have seen all of the Downfall series, let me know if it's good or not. Obviously, don't tell me any spoilers, please, for the love of Jesus. I hate spoilers. And normally I don't have to reiterate it that much because most of you guys get that. Obviously, people, especially when I'm trying to react to it, don't want things spoiled for them because it kind of defeats the whole point. But there are people out there that I have to make sure I tell, and even then, they just don't give a shit, and will just be like, oh, just wait till you get to the point where this character dies. Honestly, it'll be so emotional. I can't wait to see that reaction, and then, you know, I get to that point, and I don't have a reaction, and they're like, how? Do you not have feelings, sir? Do you not understand? And I'm like, no, I knew it was coming, so of course I'm not bothered. But yeah, no, you get what I mean. Just don't spoil anything. But let me know if it's a good series. Let me know if you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure you would have. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. We got a good hour-ish, I'd say, ahead of us. Yeah, awesome. Can't wait. Hope you guys are excited. Let's go. All right.
Walking in from the edge of the camp, Laura, would you please describe your character for me?
Hey, immediately with a new character, hell yeah.
You see a human woman walking in soft green robes, creams, sensible leathers, with rich brown hair, walking next to an older man, in a conversation with him pleasantly, at the same time kind of looking up to the skies, looking around. And then she holds her arm up and a black raven lands on her arm. Dearest.
Your protector and guardian turns to look at you, a mantle of raven feathers over his shoulder. He smiles. You can see he looks older, tired. Says, no, plenty for the little lovey to eat. In a place like Hawks Hill, that midden heap's got to be at least 12 feet high.
Maybe you should go and get into trouble.
Raven flies off. He
Going back to attach, you know
turns
that.
to look as the bird takes wing, flying, and sighs and goes, well, I can try to move out if you'd like and try to get a lay of the land, but this is, I suppose, where we part ways.
No. You keep saying it, but are you sure you don't want to come? You could do it.
I would do anything you asked of me. And I will only say, before you ask it of me, long or short, we all must decide how we want to spend our lives. And I think in some ways we have to decide how to spend our death. It has been the honor of my life to protect you. And as a devout practitioner of my path, humility is called for. I don't think there's anything that I could stop that you would not stop more gracefully.
Excuse me, sir.
Take his hands. I would have been lost without you. Thank you for guiding me and always protecting me.
He looks at you and smiles sorrowfully. Give me an insight check.
I'm gonna turn off my fucking subtitles. What's that all about?
18.
Ever since the night I met your mother and father and told them that I had had a vision and was sworn to protect you, I watched you grow up, and even when you were a babe, there was something you were looking for. I don't think you ever needed me as a guardian, though it was my life's honor to do so. But I always felt like I wanted to help you find that thing you were looking for. And if this is where we part ways, I want to make sure that you found it. And I'm not sure if I did. Is there anything I could have done? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe there's just something I've seen behind your eyes, but I hope that you find that here and now.
See her warmth drop a little bit.
Stop turning off, goddammit.
You give me peace. Thank you.
I'll save the true goodbye for when the ship arrives, but I'll fan out and see what we can find. You'll be all right on your own, Amira?
I have my eyes.
He turns. He bends down to an enormous very observant and in some ways still wolf. Bends down
Epic.
behind the ear. Go looking. The wolf takes off into the camp. He nods and vanishes into the shadows.
Well, I have no idea who that was. Obviously, like, I get that he had a vision that he was sworn to protect. Was it Emira? I'm pretty sure that was her name. And obviously now they're parting ways, but I don't really know who that character was. But he has a wolf, and that is badass enough. So he's top tier in my eyes.
As we move from
I know we're just getting a grasp of the characters, and obviously
we see
everything will make sense
another
soon,
area
I'm
of the
sure.
encampment. We see what our young children discovered, which is massive wagons filled with brilliant, bright red and yellow fruit, grapes from the vine, a wagon packed with ice to keep cool the bodies of large stags and other hunted game. Taliesin, would you go ahead and describe your character?
She's an elf. Young, but it's hard to pin down because she's clearly had a hard life. Her skin is ashen, and her hair, once dark, has begun to gray in patches, and clearly not healthy. Clearly eats only when she can. And clearly a farmer. Possibly a hunter, considering what she has. Her eyes are a very bright yellow. And her clothes seem like they were once possibly somewhat grand. They have some beautiful embroidery in them, and comfortable and flowing, but old, very old, and put back together and put back together
stitching
with care. No shoes.
Who needs shoes?
And her expression is somewhere else. Not sad, not angry, not nervous, just somewhere else. And yeah.
A woman to your side walks up. She's about 6'8", massive burly shoulders. She has a bear claw necklace and one lower canine that stretches up in a point that kind of can't ever come all the way down in this form. She leans over and goes, "Asha, this place stinks of Aeorians. They're not all coming with the ship. There's some embedded here in the town, watching." Another figure moves up. Your other two companions helping you with these massive, like, aurochs, these almost like prehistoric, like, livestock that move these giant wagons. Shirane comes up. She has a heavy cloak and cowl because her skin is badly burnt, like wood, charred, and two angry orange eyes peer out. As another shape moves behind her, a slender man with frost white skin, eyes, and hair. You see that Shirane turns and says, "Yes, there are eyes here, watching. Already, before the ship lands. Do you want us to handle them?"
Yes, eradicate
Her
them.
expression doesn't change. Her mouth doesn't move. In their heads, there's a raspy, distant voice. We are eyes of our own. And I thought I'd taught you patience.
The three of them bow slightly not enough to give the deference that would draw more attention here, and step away as you smell a very familiar smell. A large wolf emerges,
My boy. Is it the same wolf?
looks to you, and puts its nose in between its front paws, rolls onto its back in front of you.
I get down,
So do they know each other then?
give it
The
a
elf
nice
and
long pet,
mysterious
nuzzle.
man.
and in its head, I put the thought, it's been too long. It's just been too long.
I honor and revere that which walks inside and around you, Queen. This wolf, you know its heart and loyalty belongs to a mortal in this world, but it understands what it now beholds. The wolf looks up and gestures to a creature that you already knew in the periphery of your knowledge here, but you see a raven. And smell on this wolf, smell of death.
You know what you are, and you know who you are. And I'm grateful for it. These times require hunters. You've done well. If you'll excuse me. She gives a little smile and walks towards the raven.
Hell yeah. As you begin to walk towards the raven, hustle and bustle throughout the encampment. Over by Trist and Aiden, you begin to see a couple little lights are lit as the clouds part, and you begin to see clouds parting, lights, purple and green, moving through. A massive Aeorian skyship approaches. As it does so, we watch that massive landing pad as some Aeorians stationed here in Hawks Hill begin to move their lights hither and yon. This massive broomstone-powered skyship lands, and you see within that station a massive sort of landing pad emerge, lit from behind, and the light creates a silhouette of several figures, but one at the lead, a herald of sorts that steps now from the ship. Abba, would you describe your character?
He is an Aeomatron. Beautiful. The way his frame works.
Ooh,
is
I like the way
you
he
know where it
looks.
starts
Pretty cool.
and where it ends. It's almost like a painting. And there's these gold and like sort of speckles that are kind of adorning his body, the frame, and they kind of move a bit every now and then. Very, very sort of regal in look. Orange eyes. And he sort of walks down, taking in everything. And he sort of addresses. Denizens of Hawk Hill, we have come to collect foodstuffs and raw material supplies for the might of Aeor. Please allow the representatives of the Magistracy to do their work. After food and supplies have come aboard, then those seeking refuge will be allowed to petition our proctors of the Dorian Guard. Priority will be given to those capable of labor. If you are not chosen, you will be given an emblem of sanctuary. Those with the most emblems will be taken after laborers. If you are sick or wounded, your emblem will not count.
God
If
damn.
you accost any member of this crew or delay them in their efforts, your emblems will be removed. Please come through.
Taurian guard, Aeorian mage knights begin
Do
to
they take
walk
no
down
shit
the
then?
landing pad and fan out through the city and begin to inspect this long train of wagons filled with food, stone, raw material. Some of the wagons have rare minerals, precious metals, gems, things that the mage rights and spellcrafters of Aeor need for a project. Something that they now work on in secret. You see these wagons aligning, and Tristan, Aiden, you see that some of the Taurian guard begin to move up towards you, inspecting in this place. Moving alongside you, you see this as well, Asha, as you begin to move and follow that raven throughout. As you move, you see that your companions move to the wagons, protecting one crate in particular and staying
The
quite
special
close
crate.
to it. As we move from this place, and I'm actually going to say, I know we're only an hour in, but can we stop for a bio if that's okay? A bio break? I'm going to stop here real quick. It has become an urgent priority. So I'm going to stop here real quick and jump out to the bathroom. Hell yeah, guys! Awesome!
Awesome, yeah. Just break the story.
Sick?
Had to go for a pee-pee. Perfect time to pause it, I guess. So, yeah, it's been nearly 20 minutes of recording right now of the actual like video itself, and I feel like I've said about 6 words. So awesome. Obviously, I know you guys know that obviously this isn't something you can really constantly talk to. It's a lot of listening and a lot of absorbing the story, and especially the beginning parts of it. There was a lot of, you know, introducing the characters, and then they're like more so introducing the look of the character, which I love the fact that they actually did like artistic drawings of the character, so you don't even have to try and visualize them in your head. You can just see what they want them to look like, which is cool. But yeah, obviously a lot of it's just describing the characters and then sort of plopping you in the middle of their ongoing story in each of their like, whatever it is that they're doing. So there's not a lot to talk about, but I thought I'd just pause it just to talk of stuff that I can talk about. Yeah. Continuing.
Hell yeah.
Come on, Brennan.
All right. Let me know if
The
I'm
bio
centered,
break is
I'm
done.
Good. I think I'm good, right?
Yeah, you look good. Look at that beard.
As you guys move through this space, we're going to quickly come back to Amira. Raven flying overhead. You are moving through Hawks Hill. What would you do in your time here as you see this ship now beginning to land?
I think I'd be staring at every detail of the ship and then looking down and just kind of watching the people around me, watching their interactions, especially interested in you and the children here, because I didn't imagine I'd see a lot of children in this area. And surprised that there's laughter in such a horrible place.
As the guard moves out, you behold Trist and Aiden here. Give me an investigation check as you look around at Hawks Hill.
Really good at
Funnily enough, just hearing her say that, I was watching a video yesterday, and I think it was of Steve-O talking on the Dr. Mike podcast that he does. And he was talking basically about the fact that he doesn't want kids because he doesn't want to bring kids into a world where, you know, poverty and struggle and everything is so rampant. But then he also went on a story of saying how if you were to go to Africa, there are like such vast different parts of Africa. You've got like a super wealthy part where, you know, the rich live and everything. And then, of course, you've got, you know, the other end of Africa where you've got mud huts, you've got poverty, you know, people are drinking dirty water. But then he was saying, if you go to those types of places, a lot of the time, you know, you see a much happier side of Africa, even though they're living in mud huts and even though they're struggling, you know, the camaraderie in the world that they live, they're all just like so happy and they come together and they're dancing and singing and just having fun. You know, it basically came around to the fact that, you know, you don't really like need money and to be happy. You kind of make your own happiness. But it just kind of reminded me of that there, which you said, you know, they're in such a like desolate place. They weren't expecting to see people so happy. Just kind of reminded me of that story.
Matt. 13.
You see the ship. You don't observe any key details about the ship. You see the name, the Venatoria, written across it.
Does that sound familiar in any way?
It loosely translates as a place of hunters.
Pretty cool. Sam and D must be aboard then, huh?
And you see Trist and Aiden. They have a cart filled with food. There are some wagons here that have, you know, supplies are one thing, but like in the midst of the calamity, you see huge bags of milled flour and bushels of corn and things that are quite hard to come by in this wagon that look healthy. And I think as you approach, Aiden and Trist, you both get your wagons in line as the Taurian guard begin to come up.
Having heard for the first time what the requirements are to board this ship, is there anyone nearby who seems injured or sick?
Give me perception. Or medicine, honestly.
May I assist?
Yes, you may. You can get the help action.
I guess, well, perception is better, but medicine probably makes more sense. Incredible.
Wow.
I rolled a 1 and a 2.
So helpful.
I don't know why, but the way he said that reminded me so much of Deadpool. Just the way. I don't know. I love it. Incredible.
7.
I rolled a 1.
You hear a man coughing in a nearby tent, racked with coughs, and I believe actually that you hear the same thing. Amira, you hear like, and can hear some muttered, sad words in a small tent by the wagon train there. You see that there looks to be an elderly couple in the tent looking down at a man even older than them, and you realize that the elderly couple is actually looking at a parent, someone who's truly very venerable. And as he's coughing there, I think you look in, and that's the nearest sort of sick person you can see. And Amira, you hear that as well. As the Taurian guard begins to move up further and further.
I'm going to walk toward the tent.
It's daytime.
At this moment, there's bright light as though daytime, but it is thick black clouds and night.
And is this tent open?
There is a flap open, yes.
Pop your head in
Aiden
there.
will
Immediately
walk
die.
up, sort of position himself so
Afflicted
that
with corruption.
his shadow falls over this old man's face so as not to be blinded.
Mm-hmm.
And he will say, what ails him?
You see that the elderly couple looks up and says, "Oh, my father, he is gripped by a cough." You look in the corner, both of you now, and you feel a person come by your side. They are sitting on a trove of like what looks like 12 or 13 of these emblems of sanctuary, meaning that they've been passed over time and time and time again to board a ship bound for Aor. You see that they look and say, "He's racked with a cough wasting him in his lungs."
Yeah,
There
so
is an
obviously he's
illness
never going to get aboard, huh?
We are not physicians. We know not the name.
I will You've just come.
I'm standing next to you.
Aiden will clock you for the first time and smile. And he will reach down and hold this old man's hand and say, I hope you feel better. And cast lesser restoration.
Amira, give me a medicine check.
I'm rolling out so well. 11.
You look and watch as this divine power flows forward from Aiden as you cast Lesser Restoration. You see the old man looks up.
Is that all it took? Lesser restoration?
Holy man. Holy man. The feeble hand moves up to you.
I cast wish.
Hey, my son and his wife. Hey, and the hand moves to gather some of these emblems of sanctuary and falls limp on top of them.
Is he dead? Or is he just
You
completely...
cannot heal everything.
We can always try.
You see that the man starts weeping, looking at his father as the woman covers her mouth and looks up and says, "What did you do?"
I'm going to walk in. You cannot cure age. In this moment, he offered your father peace. Which is
Euthanasia?
something we should all be grateful for.
Well, that's illegal. Gonna hang him.
But and you watch a moment unfold of utmost loss as both of these people look at a wealth of emblems and an end of pain and a path forward from this place. Guilt, sorrow, what it means to move on. I think, Trist, you see this moment too unfolding as Aiden has moved in here with this other figure and watch this man weep over his father who is finally not in pain anymore.
See, I think whether it's in a game, whether it's in, D&D, whether it's real life especially, it's such a bittersweet kind of moment, isn't it? Because nobody wants their loved ones to die. Obviously, that you don't want that to happen. But at the same time, when they die of, when they're in so much pain and they finally are out of it, it's just, it's, I don't know. It's a hard pill to swallow, I think. My nana said it best when my granddad had passed away. She went up and she saw him and everything. And the way she had described it was, you just said like all of his wrinkles had like gone and everything. All of his his skin just looked a lot healthier, despite obviously him being passed away. But she said all of the stress, everything had just went off of his face, and he just looked like 5 years younger. In the matter of like a day of seeing him obviously pass away and then seeing him like at the hospital or whatever. Yeah, like I said, it's one of those bittersweet pills to swallow. If just they're out of pain and that's for the best, but at the same time, again, nobody wants obviously their loved ones to die. It's not a nice feeling whatsoever.
A raven descends on your shoulder, and another figure moves into this space. Asha, you see the group now gathered here.
You smell of death.
Thank you. You smell like
I love that one.
fur.
I pull out an apple and start eating it. And in your heads, I'm surprised how good it is to see all of you. I've missed this.
The Taurian guard begins to move up, inspecting the wagons. They arrive. You see that Ridge and Barahai and your companions begin to sort of talk to the guards and explain. You see that one of the guards comes over, this Captain Marcus, who begins to point out and says, "You two, you are the custodians of these wagons here."
Yes, that is
Correct.
You see, he says, and behind these wagons up here, and points to the curve at your wagons, one of which has a large crate in the back. And with that, we see Salaha. You walk up behind the guards here as well.
What does Salaha stand for? So I know they call him that, but when his little picture popped up there, I'm sure it was an acronym for something. Because I'm sure it's like what's his name? Shit. Doesn't matter. I can't remember his name, but it's like another character. But yeah, I don't know what Salaha actually stands for.
As you see them look out and say, "All right, take inventory here of the mills." Salaha, is there business that we can assist you with here, my lord?
No. Let me handle this.
Very well. You see they turn looking at these, when you can see a intense distaste in the faces of the Taurian guard for all of the people they are interacting with here in Hawks Hill as they move from this space. You see an Aormaton stands before you, beautiful to behold.
No wonder.
Took you long enough. I pull out these amulets. I'm like, yeah, one for you.
Thank you.
One for you. Yeah, one for you. One for you. Yeah. You will follow me. I'll make sure that I take special care of all of you. I kind of look at the crate in the back.
You look at the crate in the back and get a funny feeling. You see,
Yeah, I'm like, whose crate?
What is this crate? It's
You hear in your head, my crate.
Kind of look at you.
Always my crate.
Really?
the wagons begin to proceed,
Yeah.
and you see the Taurian guard begin to wave them on. As they do, you look out. Anyone who wants to give me an insight check right now?
I can do that. Or, you know, it's for fun.
30.
30.
Wow.
You walk from this place having watched this man pass, and you begin to look around. You see Toph coming back at this point with Haley, and you see that sort of running through the town, and you begin to just hear some worry or concern go throughout the camp, and you can feel someone sort of like
sorry.
speaking and saying like, they went out, the scouting party went out to High Grove and they haven't come back yet. I don't know how much longer we have, but if High Grove has fallen, that means they're making their way all the way here. And you can hear voices from the rest of the encampment, and you sense like a growing unease as you move through the space as the wagons begin to move. I think you also see loading up into this place as you head towards the big ramp onto the skyship. You look out and see there are some people that are clearly beggars. They are like starving, looking at these huge wagons of food moving towards the ship as they sort of stand by the wayside looking up at the wagons move past. Families are coming back. Your companions are also now moving up towards this area. Is there anything that any of you do as you feel this growing sense of unease, as like the time of truth is coming, where people will find out if they're on this ship or not?
I'm gonna just sort of look to everyone and be like, stay close, you're fine. And you just see me from my sort of moving. I'm a lot more fluid when I'm with you guys. And then suddenly I'm like, I need to handle something. And suddenly I just go rigid and just walk to the front to go and take charge.
You walk to the front. Wagons begin to get loaded onto the ship. As they do, farmers attached to a wagon's taking care of the livestock and the steeds, are being approved. Aiden, Trist, you look and see Amaris comes. Haley and Topher are there. Amaris, out of his pocket, takes one sending stone and looks at you. You have this, right?
I do. I reach into my pocket, take it out.
If anything happens, and you see as he blinks, his eyes become the eyes of an eagle, and I'll fly to you. I'll find a way. If anything happens.
Okay. Okay.
Barahai looks up and says, all right, wagons are steady. We'll stay for a little bit, but we'll have to head to Salt River before too long. Ridge looks up and says, some starving people in this camp. I'm starting to smell panic.
I can't say I blame them.
We're near these beggars?
Yeah.
You can try and steal some food for them or something.
About 5, but you see a lot of hungry people here.
You have food to feed them. So feed them.
We can spare some.
I can say, but is it only the 5 that they can spare to feed? Because this is that situation, like I was saying in my infamous versus prototype video, where you get a good choice and a bad choice. And one of the first choices that you make is literally take the crates of food for yourself, and just like anybody that tries to come near you, just zap them away, and you can take it. And obviously that gives you the bad sort of start of the game. Or you can obviously share out the food, which gives you the good start of the game. Kind of sort of similar here, because you could just keep the food for yourself, which would obviously help yourself, but then there's starving families all around. But even then, if they're only going to give them to those 5 members of that family, which they've just said they can see a big group of them behind them, that's probably going to piss someone off and make them, target number 1. Because people are going to be like, well, why the fuck do you get food? And why don't I have any food? And that could sort of riot. But on the other side, they could be meaning like give food to everybody, which I don't know how many people are there and how much food they have. But if that's the case, then, go for it, I guess.
If we do it quietly.
I will, say, yes, I think we must.
He's a good kid. / godly creature.
And I'll look at this gorgeous construct that is more than a country boy could have possibly imagined is possible, and say, must our wagon meet a quota?
I kind of look to you. Yes.
Then perhaps I can help them find something.
The wagons move forward. Aiden, what do you do?
Are these beggars in any sort of like hovel or?
They're by the side of the road, waiting for something for a wagon to like be denied, or something sort of bureaucratic to happen that might mean there's a possibility at food.
I will,
Come on, Aiden, what are you going to do?
I will, I'm... I will sort of walk their direction and I will maybe take like a tent that we might have just from our trip that I won't need anymore.
Yeah.
And I will set it up for them and say, I hope that this is enough, but please, if you do not make it onto the ship,
Do not lose hope.
do not enter this tent until it is gone. You must have faith. And I will cast Create Food and Water inside the tent.
You cast this spell, and the tent is set up, and you see that they don't go into it. But you see there's this sort of older half-elven man. You can see his ribs pushing out against his skin, and you can see that his kids are a little better off than him. Like he's been giving them anything he can find. And he looks and goes, "Who has a tent to spare? This is too kind."
I will look at him and say,
Kindness is
A
my
tent.
middle name, bitch.
it's far easier to spare
Sorry.
than food.
He takes the tent and can smell somehow bread, food, life. He looks at you. It's been a far cry from hope. Thank you.
Have faith.
You suddenly hear a voice in your head. Be careful, darling. I don't know what you're playing at, but we have a plan. Stop playing hero and get over here. Come through, please.
The wagon moves through. You see the father steps away from you, Aiden, and looks and says, "Faith, tomorrow's another day." And walks away. Haley and Topher wrap their hands around you. Haley looks up and goes, "They let Topher play with acorns and he lost all the acorns."
Son of a
You
bitch.
see, Topher looks up. You see, he looks up and says, "I can't believe I lost all." And there's a pat on his back. You look up, a really scary-looking, obvious fucking criminal. Like knives on the thing. He's like a scar on a throat that looks like he should have died at some point. Looks up and he goes, "Kid." And Topher looks up and he says, "Felt bad about you losing those acorns." And flips him a full gold piece that lands in his hand. "Thanks, mister." You see that this guy looks down at this precocious little kid that came to a den of criminals to ask to play a game of cards. And there's like a little light in his heart. "I had a little brother who played as bad as you did." He looks up and says, "Sorry, miss. Didn't mean to intrude."
Thank you, sir.
He smiles. Amaris looks, says, "All right. Everyone wish Mom goodbye. We'll see you when you get back. Should be a day or two."
Yes, it will. I reach out and I give Amaris a big hug. And I whisper in his ear, "I love you so much."
"I love you so much."
I lean down to Haley and Topher. Mama will be back very soon, okay?
Haley nods and says, "Yeah, I know." You see Topher looks up and goes, "A full gold piece. That's a coin."
Amazing.
These people are really scary. He looks over at the Andorians. Are you sure you're gonna be okay? Do you need help?
No.
Says these people are really scary after playing with a full criminal organization over there. Bless him, losing all of his acorns. But hey, look, goes to show criminals can have a heart too. Not a lot of them, but some of them, I guess.
I don't need any help. I have all the help I can get. Do you both know how much I love you?
Yeah, Mom. See, Haley goes, yeah, Mom, I do know. And I love you double, triple much.
Well, I love you double, triple much infinity.
See, she looks up at Dad. You see, Amira says, I don't know math. She's the school teacher. I don't know. That seems like the biggest number.
Infinity usually is the biggest number.
The whole family gathers around you. Amira gives you a big kiss on the cheek.
I take in both of the kids and I just smell the top of both of their heads. And I give them both a kiss. You take care of everything and don't give Grandma and Grandpa a hard time, okay?
But Grandma, she can't even, she gets confused. It's the same story every time. How does she get so confused?
And you act like you've never heard it before.
Okay. Topher goes, that's kind of lying.
You know what? You're right.
Maris goes, little lies are okay.
Little lies are okay.
I'll see you in 2 days.
I'll see you in 2 days.
Ah, they've got such an adorable relationship.
Wait, bye.
I don't like it though. I don't. Brendan, he did this to me last time. All right, with Seret, he made me feel things, and I didn't like it at all. Little bastard. This is the exact same thing. 2 kids, it's just reversed. Instead, the wife or woman is now the main character instead of the man, which would have been Seret. Son of a bitch.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You move with the wagons onto the ship. You see your family, smell your kids' heads. It's so real. It's just so real. And that smell stays with you for as long as you want it to. Asha, your wagon comes up right behind. You see that Madine, Shirane, we will watch over this place until you return.
Who
I
are
think
Madine and
they hear in their
Shirane to
heads.
her?
I think you should go home.
Just companions? Friends?
Take the night. Meet people. Find those who are worthy. And take them home. And test them as you know I would.
We will find the worthy. Madine nods, this massive, sort of Ursine-looking woman. Worthy. And you look down and you see little Topher looks up and says, "You're a big lady." And she looks down at him, sort of raises an eyebrow over to you. A wolf lopes out of the shadow. Amira, you see your champion walk out. Word's starting to spread through the camp. I think people suspect this might be the last ship that comes through.
And there will be chaos. Pervon,
Yes.
can you do me one last service?
Anything. For all time.
Do you see that family?
Yes.
The 2 children.
Yes.
Get them out of here safely.
It will be done. He smiles. You move to the ship. As you do, the wagons come aboard, and you see the wagon filled with fruit and a large crate. Silaha, you see the crate in the back. As it's being removed from the wagon, you see one of the Aeorian soldiers goes, God, how many apples are in this thing? It's enormous.
I go and help.
Truly heavy. You are sort of staggered by the weight of this crate. You see that as you're getting on board the ship, you are now all aboard the ramp behind you, looking down at Hawks Hill. You see that Captain Marcus says, with food aboard, we will now look for laborers. Line up here, single file. Those who can work, those who are healthy. And you see that as they begin to line up, those laborers are being brought on board. A soldier turns to you and says, should we open the crate here and sort it, or?
No. Deal with it later. And I kind of look to the crowd and be like, we need everyone watching the crowd.
You watch the crowd. Laborers come on board. Shortly thereafter, you see Captain Marcus says, those with emblems of sanctuary step forward. And they begin to count out. You see the ship is basically full. There are 400 people waiting in a crowd for a dozen spots.
It's like being an actor.
As they begin to move,
The odds are insurmountable.
Captain Marcus, who's speaking down at the bottom, and you see that a small family, looks like they're all three of them are going to be able to come. It's a family of gnomes, like small folk. And you see that Captain Marcus lashes out, kicks an older gnomish woman in the chest.
Bastard!
And kicks her off the ramp.
That's fucked up.
You look and see, he says, the other gnomes scramble to go to her and help her, and you see he begins to bark out at everybody. You see the old woman is clasping something in her hand, and you see it is an emblem of the Dawn Father. You see that the captain of the Orient vessel says, I cannot be more clear. No emblem of the gods will make its way aboard this ship, nor the city of Aor. If it is the gods you worship, then have them, and their choked sky and their ruined land. What hope remains for mortals in Exandria remains because of Aor's might. Aor alone will see you through. Do you wish to come aboard without her? You see that the two other gnomes look and say, my aunt, she, you see he goes, will she divest herself of that idol? You see this old gnomish woman with strewn emblems of sanctuary around her, looks up and says, I've made every step in the light of the Dawn Father. I will not now make one without him.
So she ain't coming aboard, so those gnomes probably ain't coming aboard.
You make steps in his light and gestures to the cloudy, ash-filled sky. And you see that she smiles and looks up and looks some clearly broken bone on the ground, just goes, Captain, clouds and ash, they cover the sky, but I promise you, the sun is still on the other side. What cannot be seen is not gone forever. And you see the captain saying, remove her emblems, remove them now. And you watch soldiers converge and strip this woman of her emblems of sanctuary, and the rest of her family looks in this moment and drops their emblems on the ground, takes their aunt, and moves back into the crowd.
All right, so yeah, definitely don't take any shit from him. He's a bit of a nut job. So yeah, to get to Aor, you cannot worship, I'm assuming, any of the gods, since, you know, it's essentially the gods' fault in people's eyes that the reason the world is the way it is. Even though like, I don't know if they know the full history of how, you know, the world came to be the way it is, but it's a complicated story. A very complicated story. It would take like 4 episodes to do it justice. I think it was 4 episodes anyways.
Aiden looks at these soldiers and looks at you in particular. And then he looks at this old gnomish woman whose emblems have just been destroyed, and who talks of walking in his light. And he will stare at her.
She looks at you and just weeps. And you see that the 2 gnomes look and see her, assuming that she's overcome with hysterics. And they go, come, 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 come. She goes, the sun is shining. It's shining. It's shining right now. Even when you can't see it, it's still there.
I'm gonna walk down to Aiden, kind of look at him. Can you walk?
I am able.
Move. And I kind of...
You walk over. You see Pervon with a hand on Amira look at you as well as he pushes her forward to you. As you are now choosing like 3 people to basically take the stead of these gnomes here. You see, says, "My lord, she can work."
Come through.
You move onto the ship, and you see as the door closes, the last thing you hear out there, the waving crowd, you see this weeping gnomish woman as the hands of a large fur-bowled man go to comfort them, and you look out and hear woo, woo, as Gilly barks at you.
Mm-hmm.
The doors close. The ship moves into the sky.
I am going to stand on the side of the ship, and I am going to watch Haley and Topher and Amaris and Gilly, and I will watch them until I can't see them anymore.
The ship moves away until they are gone from your vision and for some time thereafter. We come to a chamber within the...
All right. We're going to end that one there, boys. All right, so we are slowly but surely coming up to the more interesting part here. Now, on the ship, on their way to Aor, with, you know, the able-bodied that they were able to bring with them. Aiden, I don't know what it is. Out of all of the characters currently, he seems to be kind of... I know that there is no main character in D&D, really, unless you've got one central force character, which is supposed to be the main character. But I think all of them that are there, like Aiden with the light, the holy light, and the Dawnfather, and all this different stuff that he wields, seems to be like semi-mainish, as well as also, I think, being the youngest character there. He seemed to when they got described, anyways. But yeah, very interesting way forward. But I'm pretty sure we've met. I think there may only be one character left. I think. I don't know the guy's name. I do apologize, but the guy, the bottom left, I think he might be the only like avatar character that we haven't seen yet. Obviously, we heard him talk when he back in when they were the gods in that world. But I think we haven't met him yet. I mean, I don't think he said a single word in this entire hour that we had. So obviously his character, I don't think, was in it yet. So, yeah. Hopefully, if we haven't met him, which his memory serves, we haven't. Definitely not in this episode. But then again, I have a terrible memory. He could have been... No, he wouldn't have, actually. No, I'm lying to you. Yeah, no, because we only saw 2 characters, which was Ashley's character and... Aiden... actor, I forgot what his name is, but his character Aiden. So we only saw those 2 in the first one, and I'm fairly certain we still haven't seen his yet. So yeah, I'm assuming he'd probably get introduced in the next part, because obviously, like I say, the role on the ship, he could be the one that's in the crate, which would be pretty funny if he was. But yeah, we don't really know yet. Yeah, cool episode. Like I said, obviously introducing the characters is the worst part, like, performatively for me, because obviously I can't really say much when I'm just listening to them describe a character and there's nothing story-wise there. Like I said, we're all just getting kind of like plopped in the middle of all of their stories converging to the story that we're watching. So it'll take a little while to get into it, but I know you guys, when you're watching this, I know you know, I just get panicky because I hate just sitting not giving anything to the video, which, you know, really sucks. But again, it's D&D, it's kind of part of the course. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I will get another video out. I might even make the next video another one, just because I know you guys had been waiting a long time for this episode, when you really shouldn't have. But yeah, I might make the next one another one of these as well. But yeah, awesome. Can't wait for the next episode. I hope you guys are excited as well. If you are, please do leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It does help massively, and I do massively appreciate it. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.